Hello, everyone. You are viewing this recording on Monday, February the 2nd, 2026, Groundhog Day, and you have reached Ask a Care Navigator, Mondays with Maureen. Hello, everyone. My name is Maureen Williams, and I'm the Director of Care Navigation here at Four Seasons, the care you trust. And we try to create this space on most Mondays to talk about issues associated with living well and aging well, and perhaps how Four Seasons may be of service. If you have any questions or comments, you can drop them into the comments box from whichever platform you're viewing, Facebook or YouTube. Or please call us at 866 466 9734, or go to our website, even better. Lots of resources there. And that website is fourseasonscare.org. Please spell out the number 4, fourseasonscare.org. I am delighted to be able to share our gratitude to the Van Winkle Law Firm for serving as the title sponsor for this program, Ask a Care Navigator, Mondays with Maureen. The Van Winkle Law Firm is one of the most respected and established law firms in North Carolina. It provides exceptional legal representation to individuals, families, and businesses in personal, commercial, business, and estate planning matters. If you have any questions, you want to gather more information, or you want to request a consultation, please go to the Van Winkle Law Firm website, which is www.vwlawfirm.com. And thank you very much. Well, in the month of January, we've been talking about where we live and the costs of where we live, be it a continuing care retirement community, assisted living community, long-term care community. And today, in the first Monday in February, I want to talk about staying home, the costs of in-home care. I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that all people, when I ask them, where do you want to live out the rest of your life? It's at home. Now, at home might be in a continuing care retirement community and one of the independent living options, be it an apartment, a cottage, a duplex, anything that might be called home and not assisted living and not long-term care. But everyone says, I want to stay at home. I don't want to be in an institution, so to speak. According to the Census Bureau, the elderly population of the United States is estimated to reach over 80 million in 2040. 80 million by 2040. That's huge, friends. That's huge. And there's going to be a big shift in senior living during that time, with more and more people who do want to age in place, and they want to opt for in-home care versus residential care. Now, there are many benefits to aging in place. I promote it regularly because it's what I hear from the clients that I serve. You need to know it's not always the least expensive way to live, the least expensive option. Especially when someone needs around-the-clock 24/7 care, it is not the least expensive option because costs rise quickly. Residential care may actually be less expensive in some cases, but for those who need 24/7 care, not so much. So it's important to know the financial implications of what you're stepping into as you make your plans for living well and aging well. So let's talk about some of the types of in-home care. And there are two basic types. One is called companion care. Companion care. It's the most basic type of in-home care. These are sometimes called elder companions or senior companions. These folks do not provide any medical type services whatsoever. It's a non-medical model. They simply spend time with the person in their home, accompany them on outings. They can provide transportation. They can keep a watchful eye to make sure that the person is being safe and healthy. They can take them to medical appointments or to social engagements or to the grocery store. This is a very common type of in-home care. And This type of in-home care is particularly helpful for seniors who may feel isolated, or people who live alone, or sometimes if a senior is living with family members, the family members may be working. So it's a really strong social component to care. It's fabulous, fabulous. Good companion care is fabulous. Well, another type of in-home care is called personal care assistance. And this, in addition to providing companionship, these people help seniors with activities of daily living, such as eating, bathing, and toileting. They can also provide that transportation. They can provide socialization. They can also help with household tasks. But they provide what I call touch services, something that touches the person as well. It might be similar to what you might see in an assisted living community or a group home, but this is also a non-medical model. This is not medical care at all. Okay, so it's really important to remember that this is not advanced nursing type of care. They don't have medical credentials at all. So those are kind of the two basic types of in-home care. So what does this cost? In-home care, you need to know this, it differs for non-medical care versus what might be a higher skilled level. The average hourly cost of standard in-home care is $25 an hour across the country. I can tell you that right here in Western North Carolina, it is much higher than that. All right, you just need to know that. It depends drastically based on location. While it's $25 an hour national average costs, it may be much higher or even lower where you live. And I've already said in North Carolina, it's much higher. In Western North Carolina. For example, I've got an example here. The average monthly cost in North Carolina for someone who might need 20 hours of care per week of in-home care, that average per week is around $1,733. That's just an average here in North Carolina. Again, this varies across the country. So around $1,700 a month, an hour ranges just under $6,000 a month, or just under $8,000 a month, excuse me, or maybe around $7,000 to $8,000 a month. You see how this can add up quickly. That's for just 20 hours of care a week, in-home care. Now, how do you pay for this? How do you pay for this? And I'm going to share with you some examples here. And then I want to also share with you some resources, which will be on another slide I'm sharing. Most people, well, not most, a lot, pay for in-home care privately using combinations of their incomes, their savings, and sometimes from family contributions. I've seen all of those options. Many do seek forms of financial assistance to help lessen the financial burden of in-home care. It can be very costly. Unfortunately, financial assistance for in-home care is really limited, very limited, especially for this non-medical home care and especially around-the-clock care. It's very limited. So be aware of what the services are out there, what your assets are, what your resources are as you make your plans to live well and age well. So many people say, well, will Medicare pay for in-home care? And the answer is Medicare makes a really distinct difference between in-home care and home health care. Medicare will not pay, standalone Medicare will not pay for custodial care, in-home care at all. It will pay for skilled home health care, but that's intermittent in short term. But Medicare will never pay for custodial care. Just hear that now. It will cover those skilled services. Will Medicaid cover the costs of in-home care? Well, you need to have certain functional need for home care, and there are limits to Medicaid covering this, and you have to be eligible, income eligible. It's very low income, and 24/7 care is rarely not covered by Medicaid. This varies from state to state because each state can administers Medicaid on its own. If coverage of standard in-home care is available in your state, it is typically via a waiver program, a home and community-based services waiver program. And just basically that expands on Medicaid coverage in each state. They also have additional eligibility requirements way beyond regular Medicaid. And there's sometimes caps on how many people can access these waiver programs. So frequently there are wait lists for waiver programs. Then there are PACE programs, and I've shared that with you back in a September program. National PACE Month is in September. And PACE is the Program for All-Inclusive Care of the Elderly. It's a joint program between Medicare and Medicaid for each state. It's intended for seniors who want to receive care in their home or community rather than a nursing home. And that means they are nursing home eligible. And it's a good option for seniors interested in in-home care. And that means that all care that Medicare or Medicaid would provide to seniors is provided through the PACE program. Unfortunately, it's not available in every state, and you can check to see if it's available from the official Medicaid website here to see if it's covered in your state. It is covered in North Carolina. So how do you pay for these programs? I'm getting to it. In addition to private pay, or paying from family assets, or paying from your savings, there are some other programs out there. First of all, there are veterans benefits. For veterans who already receive a VA pension, they may be eligible for a program called Aid and Attendance Benefit. It's a monthly benefit that veterans get. They can use to pay for long-term care, which includes in-home care at their discretion. You'll need to demonstrate the need for it, and there is some income limits, but check with your VA officers to find out if you or a loved one is eligible for that. There's long-term care insurance, and it specifically covers long-term services such as in-home care. There are frequently limits as to how many hours per day of coverage the policy might offer. It can help pay for 24/7 services, but it may be that you're still responsible for a large portion of that. And it depends on your policy, when you got it, how old it is, and how much benefit you have in there. And just so you know, pretty soon we're going to have some special guests talking about in long-term care insurance. There's a life insurance settlements. Some life insurance policies, which are hybrid policies, will give you the option of getting a payout early. And you might opt to work with a third party to sell your policy for settlement income. It's generally far less than what the policy was worth. Never as much as the original benefit, but if you need help paying for long-term care, this option might be sensible and an option for you. You would just need to talk with your long-term care insurance company to see if that's an option for you. There's also the option of reverse mortgage loans. They allow you to borrow money against the equity of your home and in your home while remaining in your home. It just converts home equity into accessible cash, just like it sounds. It's a reverse mortgage. It is a mortgage, though, but that provides you cash, but you have to pay it back within a designated time frame. But you can live in your home for that. These are not a long-term care solution. If you anticipate needs for short-term in-home care, this might be an option for you. And I want to share with you that in-home care options might include just short-term needs, X amount of hours per week. There are many types of organizations and agencies that provide in-home care, and Four Seasons is one of them. We provide as little as 1 hour per shift. Many other organizations provide 4 hours per shift, or X number of hours per week, or even per month. You just need to check with the home care agencies. And this is where someone like a care manager or care navigator like me and my teammates, we may be able to navigate you through the options out there for you, because it may be based on what your needs are and what your pay sources are. Are you paying out of pocket? Or are you using long-term care insurance? What are your options out there? So that's many times where a care navigator can be of service. So just let us know. We'd be glad to do that. Now, I want to share with you, if I can, a slide that gives you some ways to kind of calculate no resources, what you might have out there that might be able to help you make these plans for the costs of in-home care. And like I said, you may need something, I didn't finish that, from just a few hours a day or week up to 24/7 care. And if you're paying shift by the hour for in-home care up to 24/7, it gets expensive in a hurry. And that, by the way, that is way more than the cost of nursing home care, wherever you live. It just is. Or you might find that in-home live-in caregivers might be an option for you, which is usually about half that cost. There are options. Talk to your local care manager or care navigator to help you navigate that. But I want to share with you these resources that you're seeing on the screen right now. These are wonderful resources that you can go to find out. For example, the first one is the Department of Health and Human Services Long-Term Care Hub. This is fabulous. It provides information about long-term care costs and how to pay for long-term care based on where you live in the country. It might be a good place to start for you. It would tell you the costs of private rooms in home nursing homes, staying at home, what your options are out there. It's a very creative website. So that might be a good hub for you to start. There's also AARP's Home Care Payment Resource Guide. I always love starting with AARP. It's so consumer driven. And it explains your costs for paying for in-home care. In fact, the article that opens when you click this is called Can You Afford a Home Care Worker? It's very easy to understand. It provides a really nice brief overview of what resources may be available to you and your family where you live. So I like that. And then another wonderful resource I like to think about is the National Council on Aging Benefits Checkup. This is fascinating. You basically open this checkup, you put in the zip code where you live, you click in the types of in-home services you might need, such as healthcare, housing, aging in place, and medications. And then you click to find out what's available in your area. Very creative. You can, just based on your zip code. And that might be a tool to help you understand what might be available to you or your loved one based on where he or she lives. And can you all access any resources to find to help you all pay for or provide in-home care services? Wow, that's a lot. A couple of common questions I hear is home care cheaper than nursing home? Yes, as I just mentioned, if you just need a few hours per week. But truly, if you need 24/7 care and you're paying for those by the hour, in-home care is far more expensive than nursing home care. Live-in care is about the same cost as nursing home care, but that might be what you want to pay, and either through private insurance, private long-term care insurance, or even out of pocket because you want to stay at home and you have the financial fortitude to do so. That's very, very possible. We talked about, will Medicaid pay for in-home care? Yes, sometimes for those who qualify for the program, but it will be limited at times. Will Medicare pay for home care? Remember, Medicare does not pay for standard home care such as companion and personal care assistance. That's considered custodial care, and Medicare does not pay for it. In the state of North Carolina, the costs are higher than the average for in-home care. So just consult with your financial advisor and make your budgets and look at what you might have need for in your future. Look at what your assets are. Do you have a long-term care insurance policy? We'll be talking more about that in the future. That may be able to pay for your needs. Some of the older policies were great. They were great. They covered lots of unlimited care and minimal to no elimination periods. Those policies are gone. So you have to do more budgeting and calculations and plan for yourselves based on where you are in healthcare and what risks you can manage over time. It's a lot to think about. So I'm going to be bringing in some friends to help talk about that in the not too distant future. All righty. Plan for your future, friends. Where do you want to live? How are you going to be able to pay for it? Think about it now. It's not as dire as you think, but you do need to start looking at some of these numbers to protect yourselves. And here's the thing, Four Seasons may be able to help you do that, either through our Four Seasons Home Care program or our Four Seasons Care Navigation program. Or if you don't live locally, let us know. We will get you connected with people where you live, in whatever state you live, to maybe help start making plans like this. Many of the clients we take on in our Care Navigation program are doing just this. They're making plans now for what might happen to them in the future. And they're running all the scenarios, and that's what we help them to do. And we're happy to be of service. Should you have any questions or want Four Seasons Care Navigation or Four Seasons Home Care to be on your team, give us a call at 866-466-9734, or please go to our website at fourseasonscare.org. Well, thank you for joining me today, and join me again next Monday, February the 9th, for another episode of Ask a Care Navigator, Mondays with Maureen. We'll talk about living well and aging well. And we appreciate you listening and viewing as always. Have a great day.